Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So we're doing one more late night track
Indeed.
this evening, and this time I have picked out season 3, episode 11, "The Hunted."
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to watch along, get your timestamp to 0, and at the sound of the now, press now. Now.
Technically, that was the second now.
I think people knew what I meant.
More or less.
It's a little thing I picked up from Duncan Casey. So we have a lovely, charming little matte painting there.
That's quite nice.
It's even got some little monorails and things going through the tubes.
I do like this episode. Why did you pick this episode?
So I think I picked this one. It's a fairly straightforward story,
Yes.
but I quite like the character actor in it, whose name I forget, but I referred to him as Space Jonathan Haidt, because he looks very much like the US psychologist Jonathan Haidt.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also, as Richard Jackson said to me in a DM once, he'll always be the guy who's mean to RoboCop in RoboCop 2.
Very good.
He says that, you're not a real man, you can love a wife, you can love a woman.
I think, and I won't say anything about it, but I love the ending of this episode. That's all I'll say for now. But I do love how it ends.
This one has a great ending.
Yes, we're gonna leave it at that until we get
it's
there.
It's so satisfying because these people are so pretty.
Yes,
they're so kind of uptight. I mean, even their uniforms, the way they're all wearing these kind of
Space
ridiculous,
turtlenecks.
Yeah. Actually, to me, it almost looks like a motion picture era. Like, what is that jacket? What is that?
No. I feel like you can tell that Riker doesn't like that he's taller than him.
But you know what you have here? You have a Star Trek first, which is James Cromwell, who later plays Zephram Cochrane in First Contact, is the minister of this government. Picard should just be like, anyone ever tell you look like Zephram Cochrane from our history books, but with a moustache?
You can tell Riker doesn't like him.
Right. Data in command, which doesn't happen often.
No. Should happen more often, though. Oh, this is a good...
So we start off with a great... This is another reason I like this episode. It has a great action scene at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Where in order to outsmart the Enterprise...
We do some clever maneuvering.
It doesn't look like much, like they go behind an edge, but it's kind of, they play peekaboo. The Enterprise. They go behind an asteroid. Oh, we go around the asteroid. Oh, they're not there anymore. Oh my god.
What's happened?
I think it doesn't look like much because of the visual effect of the time.
Yes.
I think this would probably, the way, if they were to do it now, it would look like more. It would look more exciting.
And with 10 more lens flares.
Oh yeah.
I don't miss the lack of lens flare.
Yeah, the sort of cleaner look of space. I think that's one of my main problems with, non-story writing wise. That's one of my main problems with newer science fiction things, is they feel the need to kind of wow you too much with the amount of stuff they can throw on the screen in space. Eluded the Enterprise? Oh my god.
Love that. He's so dismayed. It's hurt his pride.
But no, this is I would say this is a decent standalone little episode about this one planet that they go to that wants to be members of the Federation. So that implies that they have warp power. They've got, they've reached the level of advancement that's required.
But now they have to pass the moral background check.
Like, have you done something nasty? Are you keeping half your population as slaves? Are you doing nasty experiments on your ex-soldiers? That type of thing.
Although technically, shouldn't this be... Well, actually, no. Right after this is when the Cerritos is going to come along to help with the paperwork.
Right.
Well, if they got approval.
Yes, we shall see.
And help them pick out their designation number.
Right. That's something quite fun, is how much Lower Decks makes fun of the quite boring bureaucratic aspect of this era of Star Trek, where,
And how much is implied, too.
Right.
How much boring paperwork is implied.
Doesn't seem to be that much automation of things, like, the fact that you've got two crew members who are really, really excited about a different kind of scanner so they can go and do these really repetitive tasks that you would have thought they'd just give to robots or something like that. No, but you have to personally climb through every tube to go and, twist one screw in order to, fix some system.
Of course.
You got to fix the dynametric relays on deck 12. And
don't forget the gel packs.
Oh, the binaural, those gel packs. The amount of trouble they caused.
Yep. Oh, I love it. They're cheese infections. I love that is a description of a Star Trek episode.
There is an episode where Jeff McCarthy. There you go. That's your guy. James Cromwell, as I said. Angosia, Colomini. We like potted plants.
I mean, I like potted plants.
Yeah, there is a case of the planet boring.
Yes.
On this,
100%.
We like grey and a couple of potted plants.
Yes, but you're not exactly rooting for them.
No, sure. They want to be members of the Federation. Okay. There must be so many planets that want to be members of the Federation, but they're secretly doing some really nasty shit.
Yep.
So that starships go there and go, oh, okay. You've systematically murdered all your chickens. Or what? There's something they've done, It's like, oh, no. You don't pass the bar on this one, sorry.
And they all...
Federation, yeah.
I feel like every planet that gets rejected, it's like, we're better than the Klingons!
Yes, well, the Klingons aren't members of the Federation.
True.
They're just allies.
Yes, my mistake.
It's like, oh, you've got a secret underclass of... There's a second species that lives on your planet that you keep underground and you use them as slaves. No, that doesn't work.
I feel like there's a list of things that they send around, like, you can't be a member of Federation if you have an underclass, you can't be a member of Federation if you're committing a genocide.
There's a WikiHow
of
Federation membership checklist.
And they send it out in advance.
Yeah.
Like, please be sure you meet all of these requirements. But they keep adding to it every time they find a new moral injustice, they add to it.
And there's no phone number or helpline. Because they don't want to talk to you. They just... But I like the inventiveness with the technology. Like, clearly whoever he is has a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's very clever.
Now, where was he going to go from there? He's literally in a space coffin. Where was he going to go?
Take a really long nap.
Like, he's chopped up his ship into 30 different little bits. That's a nice line. I do like the Picard's beginning to lose his patience with this guy.
Yep.
That's a fun little thing they add at this point in the show, where if you've got a weapon in the transporter beam, the transporter can actually, before you're fully beamed in, when you're on 60% or whatever, they they nerk your gun so it won't work.
It makes sense you'd be able to do that. Just, take out a few wires.
Boosh.
Have a few wires not materialize.
I love that he takes one shot, right? So you know he's strong already.
Mm-hmm. Go, Brian.
He just bowls people over. The wimpy-ass Starfleet security are no match for this guy.
And there's just O'Brien gurning on the floor.
You get a great bit of Commander Worf office linebacker here, because I think he runs in and somewhere nearby. It's somewhere around here. Here you go.
Yep, here we go.
Here's your Worf moment. It's proper football.
Go, Worf, go. Go, Worf, go.
Here you go, look at that.
Yep.
Bish!
I really like the idea that the actor playing this guy had no idea what was happening in that scene. They said, "Yeah, just show
Just
up
have a
and
fight."
tussle for a bit." They didn't tell him that Worf was going to tackle him to the ground.
Right.
Rand's like, I got him.
The funniest part of all of this is that it makes the Starfleet security just look so incompetent.
It really does. It's like, why did you send them?
They're such softies, or they're all going to they're doing too much kind of yoga, wimpy, touchy feely 80s shit.
They definitely needed Worf to whip them into shape a little bit.
Yeah. So here's where the uniform started looking really good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You got a high collar.
I think these are probably my favorite.
They're also using a different quality of film stock. Like that is actually a noticeable difference between season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Is that from season 3 on, you notice the quality of grain. It doesn't look as dated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
The colors look much brighter and richer too.
They must have changed it because it's so noticeable. And this, as we've said before, this is peak Riker quaff.
Oh yes.
He's at his maximum floof with his hair. I do like how he kind of stands with his chest puffed out. He has this unusual stance.
Oh yeah.
Whereas his hands are slightly behind him.
It's called the Dorito chest.
Dorito chest, is that what it is?
Dorito chest, like an upside down Dorito.
Oh, I see. Yeah, triangular kind of.
Yes. These are to look like a Dorito.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is one that has a good use of Troy, I think.
Yes.
In that she senses his suffering.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of the one that figures out what's actually been going on with this
Mm-hmm.
guy. He's not just some random prisoner that the Angosians are just... They just want this whole thing covered up. They're just like, transfer him back to us, we'll deal with it. But Troy's like, no, there's more going on here than meets the eye. Because she senses it.
Yep.
Now, fun fact, this actor was the original chief medical officer of the USS Voyager.
Really?
He's there for like one shot.
Huh.
I think he's rude to Paris.
Oh, and
at
then he gets killed,
He
right?
immediately gets killed.
Ah, okay.
And then it's replaced with Robert Picardo.
I completely forgot that. For some reason in my brain, it was just always Robert Picardo, which obviously doesn't make sense that they.
But no,
wouldn't have
they show him.
Okay.
He has shorter hair and obviously he's in a blue Star Trek uniform and stuff.
Interesting.
He's a really good actor. I kind of wish I'd seen him in. He'd gotten a bigger role in Star Trek.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a bit like there are certain actors that came back in Star Trek, like Rene Auberjonois, who was he was Odo most famously. That actor played several roles before that as just little guest actors. He's in Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country as Colonel West. He's the one that's wearing the Klingon mask.
Oh,
They
okay.
put him up and they're like, "Oh my god, it's Colonel West." He's the Scooby-Doo villain.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I would have gotten away with it too.
But this was sort of a habit, is that they'd cast people in these little roles, and then they seem to go back through and go, who would make an interesting...
Well, especially if you're casting for a character that's going to be in heavy makeup.
Yeah.
You can definitely get away with it.
Yeah, they're a completely different guy. Once there's a statute of limitations, like, there are people in Stargate that turn up in season 10 who were in season 2.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks like the same guy, but yeah, it's been long enough that people won't remember that he was already in Stargate.
Not shameless, it's just Doctor Who.
Yes. There are 6 actors in Doctor Who.
And half of the time they either...
Peter Capaldi being 4 of them.
Yeah. Half the time they explain it poorly. 25% of the time they hope you don't notice.
Oh god, like that one where they have him remember that he was already in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It's like, don't over-explain it. It's not necessary.
My favorite are just the ones where they hope you don't notice. Or the ones with Martha, because Martha's actress had already been in
Yes.
Doctor Who, and they just said,
Same with Amy Pond. Right?
She's at some point there's but at least with Amy Pond she was wearing makeup and it's a completely different character.
Mm-hmm.
There's a throwaway line at one point where she says, "Yeah, I had a cousin that worked for insert company here." So they're just saying it was her cousin. Okay, her identical cousin.
Sure. I mean, I think probably one of the main reasons I like this episode is it's a really good performance by this actor.
Very good. Very
the way
good.
that he shows that. I mean, it's basically a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
Kind of story. And you know, this country this planet has used these people, given them all kinds of horrible skills, and they can't readapt to society, and they're like, yeah, who cares? We won the war now, whatever.
Ship them off.
Just put them in a prison cell, and you know, we'll forget about them.
Yep.
It's that problem which was at the time. This would have been about 1989, 1990, I suppose. That was still a very relevant problem in American society at the time, I think. Perhaps more so than it is now.
Yeah.
I guess.
This is one of those few instances where Picard doesn't show a great amount of trust in his other officers.
Yes.
Usually he's pretty good about this, but...
We kind of get the sense that he's more concerned about, well, the Federation needs allies. We need to, we need to bolster ourselves against the Romulans. He's too much thinking about the bigger picture and not thinking about the actual moral implications of the problem until it's brought to his attention.
In those situations,
he can't ignore it.
Yeah, and it's funny enough, in the situations where Troy is played as a balance for Picard, I think that's some of her best moments. But they don't use her enough in that way. Yes,
I know what you mean. I mean, there is a problem with the female characters in Star Trek generally being pretty weak until you get to Janeway.
Yes. Janeway's awesome.
Where even Crusher is kind of... She's the only one that calls Picard Jean-Luc. Mm-hmm. She's supposed to be she's supposed to be his counsel.
Yes.
But again, she's not used... She's mostly used to kind of, expound various bits of exposition. It's not the most interesting use of her character.
Yes. And pretty much all the women in the show are meant to be like the emotional heart of the show.
They're the motherly type one. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Picard does need an emotion, it does need a character balance. I don't want to say an emotional character, but a character that shows a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Empathy?
Mm-hmm. She's an empath.
Well, yes.
There you go. This is really her episode in a way, because she's the one that figures this out.
Yeah.
It sort of reminds me a little bit of the wonderful episode of Deep Space Nine, which we will cover eventually. I really want to do lots of Deep Space Nine, actually, when we get to it. There's a wonderful episode of Deep Space Nine called Duet, with Major Kira and an old Cardassian man who they think is this long-lost general.
Yes, I love that episode.
And it's an amazing little double act between the two characters. And again, it's in the brig. Mm-hmm. There's a secret aspect of one character, and Kira hates him because he's Cardassian. It's brilliant. It's a really, really fantastic episode. Mm-hmm. There you go. So that's the pretty obvious metaphor what's going on.
Yeah, not exactly a subtle parallel there.
Right. I think they even say at one point they didn't know if it could be undone, but they didn't really put that much effort into trying to see if it could be undone. It's very, very obvious what that's going on.
Yep.
Picard doesn't know what's going on. He's like, sounds good.
Sure, sounds sciencey.
I'm with Troy. I'm convinced.
Riker, what would you do? Yeah, let's do that.
The thing that's great about Picard is that he is sort of an oddball for Star Trek.
Mm.
He's not Kirk. He's very different to Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Riker's more Kirk than Kirk, really. And, but he's, you know, a super intelligent diplomat. Because, the original series, the kind of set up the original series where you have thesis, antithesis, synthesis, right? So you have you have Bones, who's super emotional. You have Spock, who's super logical. And then you have Kirk, who's a combination of the two.
Yes.
That's the setup of the original series, and it really worked because of that central triangle of characters who balance each other. Mm-hmm. Not quite the same in TNG, where Data, I suppose, is supposed to be the Spock one. Mm-hmm. But who's the super emotional one? Yeah, it could be several different. It could be Riker. It could be several different people.
Yeah.
Picard is the one. You know, he gives his great speeches and stuff. You know, he has these great moments, but I think he's more. He arrives at his decisions differently than Kirk did, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we've talked about that before, how with the original series, there's more of the difference in dynamic between the trio cast of the original series and the more ensemble cast of TNG.
Yeah.
Which...
They have more to contribute.
It's a mixed bag. You have more personalities, you have more people contributing, but it also can end up being a little less focused sometimes.
Mm-hmm. They have this problem with every show in a way, that the top characters are the most focused on, obviously.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got your Cisco, your Janeway, your Chakotay, 7 of 9, the Doctor.
Although Chakotay kind of gets thrown away.
He does kind of get shortchanged a bit. And then you've got your less important characters like Kira's fairly important in Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Meaney, O'Brien is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Julian Bashir, Harry Kim. We're starting to get into the bottom of the pile. You know,
yeah.
B'Elanna. How much? B'Elanna's not that interesting.
Worf kind of steps into his own once he gets to DS9.
Worf gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially once he and Jadzia Dax become an item, and then you have some really interesting episodes. Actually.
Yeah. I love the episode where Cisco basically has to tell him, stop putting each other in sickbay. You have to stop.
It's keeping everyone awake. Yeah, that's quite funny.
And you're not ready for duty because you have broken arms.
That's great.
I love that.
I'm so surprised they did that.
I am too, but it was funny as anything.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Captain Clint Butthole there is not exactly matter of internal security. Mm-hmm. The age-old cry of the oppressed. Yes.
Subtle. Watching a lot of episodes at the break lately.
I know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. I like the symbols that they put on his face there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice
It's
touch.
to mark him out as being different, right? Because your civilian Angosians don't have that.
No.
It's so that they instantly know
you've been programmed.
you're different.
Yeah.
You're a second-class citizen because you've got the mark.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Again, subtle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's a really good bit of
I'm not saying.
actually,
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't like it. I like it very much.
He's got his distressed uniform or whatever that is. Now they reference this character in Lower Decks.
When?
They do. What's her name? Not Boimler. Ensign Mariner says, now who was a better antagonist to Picard? Roga Danar bested Picard, all of the Enterprise's security. And
True. Oh, I forgot
if he
that.
wanted to, he could have taken over the ship, you know.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But he was just trying to survive. Like,
yeah, he just wanted to escape. Taking over the ship was not his goal.
Right.
And in fact, it's probably counter to his goal because it would have gotten more heat onto him.
Right. I mean, I think at an earlier time, this would have been more surprising, the thing that he turns out actually to be a good guy, just fighting for the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
These days, we've seen so many of these types of plots that we're fairly wise to it. We're like, nah, okay, there's more going on here, because he seems too personable.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just a bad guy.
No, they're going to give us some reason to like him. Yeah.
I like how that wig kind of bounces as she walks
Yeah,
by.
it's a very good wig.
So there you go. You've got your season 3-4 kind of Enterprise model that's got heavier paneling, and
I was going to say the panels are much more pronounced.
it's a bit chunkier looking.
Chunky.
Let me guess, he's going to try a thing. 0.1 second difference. Yeah, but he's going to do a thing, isn't he?
Proceed.
Yeah, he's got that. Now he's got upside down Dorito like physique, right?
Yeah.
See, it looks kind of. The Enterprise looks a bit kind of beefy there. It looks like he's put on weight.
Well, all the food, replicators and whatnot.
I do like what this implies, that you can just kind of fight your way out of the transporter beam.
Yeah. What would that... Oh, gosh. The implications of that are really...
That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's kind of a point, though. If you were on a ship with replicators, where you could make whatever food you want whenever you want it, how is everyone not just insanely fat?
Maybe you can make something that tastes like cheese but is actually just pure vegetables.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I mean, if not, I would be in trouble. I love that idea.
They do sort of imply that the synthetic stuff isn't quite as good as the real thing.
Yeah.
So, like, Picard's brother, when you meet Picard's brother later on, he kind of complains that synthahol is not the same as the real product because they live in a vineyard.
Well, that I believe. But I don't know, with the food, I always kind of gathered that it does technically taste the same, but it's like how when you say your grandmother's food is so much better because of the love.
Right, yeah. There's always got to be an X factor that's left out.
Yes.
Yeah. The computer can't
Which I'm not saying I disagree with.
Specify what relative you wanted to make your mac and cheese.
Ooh, now I'm thinking about pot roast.
So you got another great action scene where he figures out how a way around all of their usual tactics, and they're so slow. They're just like, I guess raise a force field or something.
I do love watching these. Watching the episodes in between uniform changes, because all of the extras are still wearing the old uniforms.
There you go. Yep, there's one. Yeah, of course. He's done a thing. He's done a trick.
We have a lot of phaser overloads in Star Trek.
Yeah. I don't like the noise.
Let's see, I can think of a phaser overload in the original series. There's one in TNG.
Oh, there's loads, yeah.
I certainly remember one in Voyager.
Great security guy there, looking the wrong way.
Well done.
Until he's approached.
You had one job.
Right.
You didn't even get off a call to the bridge.
No, he calls that guy, deactivates force field, and they immediately do it. They don't even ask who it was.
You don't think maybe there should be a lock right now?
Maybe check the identity of the person calling to tell you to lower the force field.
When you know there's a prisoner trying to escape. Oh my god.
He single-handedly clonked everyone out in engineering.
I like the bit part actor that just gets to lay across one of the consoles.
Yeah. Somehow he knows the Enterprise's systems. Yeah, you kind of got to just go with it. You don't worry about it too much. Like maybe he's able to figure out what it is he needs to do really fast, and it doesn't matter what the format is.
He's familiar with basic techno-babble.
Right.
Make it
Make it so.
very good. I love those little isolinear chips. He's not going to Shuttle Bay 2.
Mm-hmm. It's a misdirection tactic.
You could have taken the lift. It's like 3 steps away.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this set is this. They rebuilt this as the Voyager
It
engineering.
looks very similar. Voyager's just bigger, surprisingly enough.
I think it looks bigger because they may have changed the size of the... They also shot it differently, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like this corridor, this turns up a billion times.
That round corridor.
The one with the round walls.
That tripping hazard.
Yeah.
You can only fit one person through that corridor at a time. Everyone else is tripping.
I think it was originally built for the Final Frontier because it's the one where Scotty knocks himself out on the bulkhead.
Yeah.
I know this ship like the back of my hand. Honk. Katang!
Oh, yep. Oh. Star Trek slapstick comedy. That's
yeah.
yeah. It's about all that needs to be said. Really.
Hang on, 25 decks?
Yep.
How many decks does the Enterprise D have?
Haven't we had this discussion?
I think we might have done. But you have that thing where, because of the way they designed it, there is not a shuttle bay on the secondary hull. There's only shuttle bays on the saucer.
Okay.
Oh wait,
yes.
no, that's not true. They're on the back of the neck. There's 2 on the back of the neck, and there's 1 on the saucer.
Okay.
So I suppose each section, if it separates, has a shuttle bay of its own.
You would. You'd think it would.
Yeah. Yeah, Data's figured it out.
Go, Data.
Picard, come on. Catch on. You know what he's trying to do.
Yep. Yeah, but we need to make it look like only Data could figure it out.
Yeah.
Careful, Data. You're becoming as useful as Troy.
Okay, so they can tell what access panels are open on the whole ship with 1,000 people on board. They can tell. Is there some like little notification bar that's saying like, access panel closed, access panel open, access panel closed? Jeffrey's tube opened.
I mean,
Sonic shower turned on.
Well, maybe not to that extent.
But they don't for the shuttles. They're just like, we launched another shuttle.
Yeah, just take them when you want, right?
Oh, you can see the screws along the top of the little control panel there.
That's what all the staff members do on the weekends. They take their kids out in the shuttlecraft.
They didn't ask anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly obvious dry ice.
But it's still a clever strategy.
Yeah, every couple, there's quite a lot of. He's got a plan. Oh, it's foiled. He's got a plan. Oh, it's foiled. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's he does this. He does something else. Does a misdirection.
Go, Worf.
Yeah, there you go. There's some old uniforms.
Oh yeah, all the secondary actors
Constantly, yeah.
are still wearing the old ones. Which, I'm okay with that, because they're reasonably similar.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When they're doing the transition from these to the DS9 uniforms, and they're completely different, mm-hmm. and it's half and half, that's messy as hell.
Oh, well, in Star Trek Generations.
Well, it's in a movie.
We know why, right?
They ran out of budget to make the rest, didn't they? So they had to borrow them from DS9.
They had uniforms all ready to go, and then for some reason, I think through budget cuts, for some reason, the new uniforms were cut, and they stayed with the originals.
It's so sloppy, though.
So you've got like Riker wearing Sisko's uniform, and Sisko has a very different physique from Riker. You know, Avery Brooks is not the same shape and size.
No.
As Jonathan Frakes.
And I mean, the thing is too, even amongst the main crew, it was half and half. It just seemed like such a mistake.
That movie was mostly a mistake. Although I'm a bit of a weird Generations apologist because there's aspects of it I do quite like.
There are still some fun aspects.
Unthinkingly, I will admit, I like Generations. I think it's mostly that I have pleasant childhood memories of that because my dad rented it from the video store.
Aww.
And we watched it while he did the ironing.
Aww.
I was really big on. Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, that's nice.
I was really excited about the Enterprise B and
I mean, there's some things that just have a nice bit of nostalgia tied to them.
Right. But yeah, the way they kill off Kirk is total bullshit.
Oh yeah, that's complete bullshit. And what they do to the Enterprise D, obviously, is complete bullshit. But there are some points in parts.
As a 9-year-old, that was hella exciting, though.
Oh yeah, well that's true. In the moment.
Oh god, we gotta throw a bunch of cans and polystyrene crates around.
You have to act squished. Do your best squished.
Mm-hmm. They built that set. That's a set. I'm just trying to figure out, did they build that specially, or was that just, you know, a redress of something else we've seen?
I'm sure it's a redress of something. What is it with him and phasers?
He's very clever.
He is very clever.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Oh, very good.
This is one of the reasons I like it, is that he's consistently shown to be quicker than Starfleet people who are getting a bit soft.
Mm-hmm.
They've been on this luxury liner, cruise liner looking ship for far too long, and all of their reflexes are too slow for somebody of that. Yeah. Dear, oh dear.
Oh no.
I do always quite like how, the planet are just like, hey, you with your big powerful Enterprise, you fix the situation for us. And they're like, no, don't want to. Uh-oh. Here you go.
That's what created them for. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay. You're not helping your argument there, sir. Oh, I love this.
I do quite like that, Alright, maybe we'll get to it in a minute.
Yes. We want to let the ending happen. Yeah, seriously, if you're... as I said, I love TNG, I love the TNG crew, but clearly they are a bit soft, at least at this stage. So if you look prissy in comparison to them... Well, yeah, he is the head of security. That is kind of his job. Like, I see what you're doing, Riker, but it is kind of his job. What are these pink spherical vases?
Like, these people clearly have no idea what... They don't know which end of this fires the lasers. You know, they haven't. They've no idea what
They have
they're
no
doing.
idea what the safety is.
Yeah. Like they're kind of diplomats. And you got that tiling. That looks like the tiling from Blade Runner, or you know.
It's future tiles.
Yeah, but that tiling, I think, is a Frank Lloyd Wright style of tiling that turns up all over science fiction. Somebody's got a cast of it. Somewhere there's a cast of it that gets used everywhere. Because it's even in Westworld. Like I've seen it all over the place. Yeah. There's I think they may have shot the original. So Deckard's apartment in Blade Runner has that exact tiling. The kind of
weird.
And it's based on something Mayan. I think it's Frank Lloyd Wright based on something Mayan. It comes from. Don't know why I've noticed that, but it just turns up all over stuff. All over the place.
Oh, I love little things like that. Like for some reason, the little design details that people decide, oh, this is what the future's going to look like. But things that are incredibly specific.
Right. Well, that's the thing with Blade Runner, is it's kind of a mixture of existing architecture and futuristic architecture. This is why people call it postmodern architecture. And so
yes.
Is that it's the synthesis of these two different things.
I love this part, the you've done a naughty part. They chose this. Okay.
You're just going to keep it in a box until that's such time?
I hope you have a lot of mothballs. Yeah, seriously, they will kill you. What do you think you're gonna do, sweater vest? I suppose I should say turtleneck. All these turtlenecked old men holding these futuristic guns.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, mention that. They might actually want to go home.
There you go, and Troy gets a critical part of that final kind of revelation, right? She's like, "What is it you want?"
These are the kind of episodes that Troy actually can help in.
Go on. I think Troy's well used here. I think it's a good Troy episode.
I agree. I'd kind of forgotten this is a bit of a Troy episode.
So would I, actually. I didn't pick it for that reason. I picked it because I really like this character and I like his performance.
No.
We're out of here.
I love that. I love
Bye.
that. Like, you have to sort
fun
out
with
your
this.
own shit.
I ain't doing your dirty work.
Yep.
There you go. It's a classic, well, Prime Directive helps us out sometimes.
Yes.
If I can't help when I want to sometimes, but on the other hand,
Sometimes it gets us out of helping us in a situation where
it gets
we
us out of problems like this. It's sort of enlightened self-interest in a way.
Yeah, see, that's
There you go. They have a little moment. And it's never pointed up as being more than that. It's not like they had a romantic involvement. It's that she understood him, right?
Not that she doesn't have plenty of those.
Sure, but it's not a romantic episode. It's purely she gets it. She understands his problem. She understands his plight.
And I like that we don't get a complete resolution to this. It's just that you have to figure this out.
And they leave while there might be a coup d'etat in progress. They're just like, bye!
But if the government survives the night... I like the idea that they stay in orbit and just like watch on the screen.
Mm.
Bring some popcorn. Everyone, movie night on the bridge.
That seems like a more of a USS Reliant type thing to do. They seem a little bit more sadistic. Those fuckers.
True. It would be fun though. Movie
Yeah.
night on the bridge.
Well, there you go.
Watch the coup d'etat.
There's a classic TNG episode.
That's a very.
I really like that one.
I do
think I think it's a good standalone. It doesn't have big consequences for the wider story.
No, it doesn't.
It's
have
just
to.
a good standalone little episode.
And it does show you a bit more of the Federation diplomacy than I think we've seen at this point.
Sure, yeah.
Which I personally find interesting. Maybe I'm alone in that, but...
No, I like that part. I like the fact of... Because this is the first of a series of episodes that dealt with... Okay, you've got a... there's one, I think, in the next season. The one where Beverly Crusher gets captured by the...
Yes.
space IRA, basically.
Yeah,
the terrorists.
oh god, yes.
And they are... But they basically keep showing up. They have a sort of teleporting technology that's slowly killing them.
Yes, and they need a doctor. But we should watch that episode.
We will cover that episode, but again, it's a similar kind of episode where the plot is essentially this planet wants to be Federation membership, but they've got this problem that they can't get rid of.
Yes, and they're not quite ready yet.
It's like in Stellaris, where you're almost ready to advance to the next stage, but you just can't get that piece of territory you need.
Indeed.
It's just that one little bit.
Indeed.
That's keeping you back.
That one technological advancement.
So yeah, in general, I think episodes around this point in season 3, this is when they started to be more consistently really good.
Yes, your batting average goes up.
So today we did 2 season 2 ones.
Yes.
This was a season 3.
Yes.
We've done, I think in season 2 they were sort of very uneven, and out of a season of 26 episodes, like 5 of them are really, really good.
Yeah, 5 of them are really good. Probably 15 of them are acceptable, and then the remaining
The rest
7 are.
But the average starts going way up by this point,
Yes.
and that's why season 3 is a better. That's when the show really gets interesting.
It finds its feet.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Well, there we have it.
Indeed.
Until next time, everyone.
Until next time.
Thanks for watching. If you got this far.
99.
Bye.